How long you been doing this thing?
All right, we're started. Oh, everybody see the screen okay?
Yep.
Good, good. Sue, since you're here, why don't we start with you first and see, did Ron Berry show up? See, Ron sent some stuff in. Okay, I was going to do him next. Well, we'll see if he comes. All righty, let's get going here. Well, this one came up on its own, so I guess we'll do this one first. Okay.
This is a Datura plant. It's a weed that's growing all over Green Valley right now. They've shown up all over our yard. And so this one, I was playing with textures and blending in the background.
Mm-hmm. Anybody
I
have?
love the form of the flowers, so I do.
Isn't it beautiful? It's been so hard to get that in focus. Every time you start to shoot, the wind blows just enough that it's out of focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this the one that's more open early in the morning?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's very
They
toxic.
open up at night. I'm not sure about that, but
Yeah, they open in the evening and stay open all night. They evidently attract moths.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh,
I wish they had more. We have so many.
carnivorous flowering.
Yeah.
What is the name of it again?
It's some form of datura. I don't know if I have one here where it's open, but it's got like this purple crown inside on all the leaves. It's very beautiful.
They're really pretty. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they're hallucinogenic. It's interesting. You can do all kinds of interesting
Don't
things
tell
with them.
Steve that.
I really wouldn't go near Daturas because the efficacy of where you get to the hallucinatory stage and the dead stage are pretty close together.
Kind of like arsenic.
Yeah. Now, stories from the 60s, right?
Yes.
This is the source of like belladonna,
Right.
Right.
which, it has medical uses, but I had a friend that supposedly took it, but he wound up being blind for 3 days.
Oof.
And he
Ooh,
went to the doctor, and the doctor said, well, there's nothing wrong with your eyes. He said, you haven't had any belladonna, have you? And he goes, oh no. And so on the way out, he goes, Doc, if it was belladonna, how long will I be blind?
Just asking for a friend.
Yeah, just asking for a friend.
By the way, could this be, we release this information to DeSantis until it cures COVID?
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. So aesthetically, I was looking at this and it seems a little heavy on top. So I was thinking maybe you could just flip it around and it might have a little better feel to it.
Oh,
What do you
yeah.
guys think?
Oh.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
better. Yeah.
that is better. I
Okay.
knew there was something wrong, so good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an easy fix.
That's really.
Really?
Yeah. The other thing you could do is maybe gradiate the background a little bit, just to give it some depth. That's a thought.
I think
Now,
it's so
What is the
hard.
background? Sue, what is the background?
Well, the background is just rocks and some leaves, but then I
Okay.
added a texture from a website that I found, honestly, just because I wanted to play with textures and blending.
Yeah.
So it's like a sand, like, what am I
Sand
trying
dollar?
to say? Pardon?
$10?
That's gone.
No, it's not a sand dollar. It's like a sandstone. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say. Sandstone type cliff behind
Okay, all right.
behind this. And I love the way it just blended in with the leaves.
Mm.
But I think
Yeah.
it's a little too much.
I guess you could
But
back it off a little if you wanted to.
I tried putting it on a black background or a dark green, and then it just was too stark. It just didn't
Mhm.
move you at all.
You've got a nice amount of definition in your white flower.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
always so hard to take good white flower pictures. I think you've done a good
Yes.
job.
Yeah, it is. I don't know how many I took to get this one.
Yeah, well, again, yeah, maybe just gradiating the background so it's not so bright might be enough, and give it some depth that way. Now, I don't know if you have these on layers or how you're doing this.
Yeah, it was all on layers.
Oh, good. So you probably already have a mask then.
Right.
Yeah, all right. So let me just lock this on here real quick. Looks like I've got my grid on for whatever reason. Yeah, let me turn that off. Okay. So we'll just copy this layer real quick. Let me move you guys so you can see what I'm doing here. All right. So copy the layer. We'll go over to filters, and again, just play with camera raw. You could do it with regular gradients too if you wanted to, but you have a little more. If you already have a mask for this flower, then I would just probably do a gradient and copy the mask and play with it
Okay.
that way, and then play with your blend modes.
Okay.
That would be one way to do it. Another way would be to come over. Let me just get my little pointer guy here. Yeah, just come over here to this gradient tool, and then just drag it down. Once you have that, you can, darken it up a little bit. If you want it to fall off a little faster, you can bring it closer together and just move the whole thing down. And then again, if you don't want it on the flower, there's a brush here, not the brush up in the major tool selection for local adjustments, but you've got the gradient tool bar here. And if you take that brush or eraser, you can erase what you don't want. So, and then if you turn on auto mask, that will help you stay between the lines, if you will. And then you can just go in there
Oh, nice.
and bring that back. Okay. So,
Yeah, that pops that out from the background. It's not just one dimensional.
yeah, and you can do the same thing on the bottom. If you wanted to, you could just bring another one up this way. And there you go. Okay,
Very good. Thank you.
sure. So let's cancel that. And close that. Hide it. And see what else you got here. All right, I'm going to move you guys over again. Just go to whoever's talking, and there we go.
I don't know. Does that look in focus now? It was in focus on my computer.
Yeah, it might be a hair soft.
Yeah. Huh. I can work on that. I have the Topaz
Yeah. I don't know if-
program that sharpens things, and that has been incredible on all of these.
yeah. I'll just make it a little smaller there. Might help it out a bit.
These were all pictures just taken around the yard this week. I'm not venturing too far from home still because I've been so sick, but
Yeah.
so these are just things that have been popping up with the rains.
Mhm.
I'm feeling a bit like Georgia O'Keeffe.
Yeah, there you go. So again, you can, use that same trick here, and you can even take the background a little more out of focus if you want. Anybody else
Okay.
have any ideas? Yeah. Okay. Let's move
But it
on.
might be nice if you've got Topaz Labs, so,
No, not the labs, just the sharpening
okay,
piece.
Sharpen AI, or if you use Photoshop,
I do.
you might want to apply like an oil paint filter to it to see what that would do.
Yep.
Or take it into neural filters and look at it.
I have been trying neural filters, and every time I try them, it shuts everything down and freezes Photoshop. So
Oh, you
Yeah,
might not have enough power in your computer for it.
I don't think that's the issue. They worked just fine until the last update, and it fell apart.
Oh,
I think I had it where they have one of the filters is colorization
Yes.
and would not let me download an update to that filter until I uninstalled Photoshop and then brought it back on.
Oh, well.
And I've read that that's what people have been doing. For some that works and some it doesn't. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll try that, Steve. Thanks.
Sure.
no,
Yeah.
good. That's good to know. Okay.
Because
Yeah, I think
that's frustrating.
yeah, I think that's a good suggestion. You can make it a little more artistic and painterly. Okay, let's look at this next one here.
But I do love the texture in the leaves that are out of focus there too. So
Yeah.
On the
I
left
like
one,
that.
yeah. This one, I feel maybe there's too much texture going on with the leaves and the gravel and flowers and I don't know if these are fern leaves or what have you in the background. So this would be a good candidate to selectively blur and gradiate where you want if you want to keep it photographic.
Okay.
It'd be a good candidate to try painterly stuff on too.
Okay.
You know,
That's all just Mexican bird of paradise, the leaves
Yeah.
and everything.
one of the prettiest plants in Arizona.
they're
Isn't it?
everywhere.
Yeah.
They're just amazing. So Mike, have you been here before, during or after the monsoon?
No, usually we get out, earliest we get out is October, so I.
Yeah, so you were in for a treat for the eyes, seeing all that stuff pop up.
Yeah, I heard about all the bugs before I came out, the chiggers and such, so.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, that
Wonderful.
kind of comes along with
Yeah.
the greenery and the flowers, but yeah, the bugs have been just insane.
You should bring your lawnmower with you, Mike.
You're weed whacker.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. But I think, the same goes for this image as well. You can, yeah, oops, let me go back.
I think even a vignette on this one would work.
That one, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. A nice vignette could work.
Okay.
Okay. Ah,
Wow,
that one's
look at
a lot.
that.
And this one, you can't really see them, but there's a bumblebee
Oh,
buried
yeah.
in there. Yeah,
In the middle, yeah.
right. And I played with textures on this one in the background too. I'm not quite sure if I like them, but there they are. I was determined to relearn how to do that this week. So
It's a very nice photograph.
thank you. Thank
I
you.
mean, the depth of field and everything else that you've captured here is beautiful.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I like the backgrounds.
Yeah.
Oh, well, good, good. I keep Sandy, kind of on my shoulder while I do things. So when twigs stick out too much, I take them back, clone them out. I hear all of your voices doing this.
Good.
That's why you're here.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
No, it's good.
What's amazing with the bees though and the flower has adapted itself so it makes the bee really go deep
Oh,
to get
yeah,
the nectar and then comes out. I mean, it's so covered in pollen.
right. And that's what I wanted to capture, but
Yeah.
I didn't get it that morning.
Mhm.
But he was just wiggling around in there having the best time.
All done. Well, I would maybe just subtly darken this one down a little bit so you get a little more separation in your eye loops back up here. Where it belongs.
Okay,
Other than that, I
But
think
beautiful, beautiful detail.
good to go. Yeah, definitely.
all right, thank you.
Thanks for bringing those in.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Well, let's see. Ron Berry, are you here yet? Okay, guess not. Well, let's go to the top and work our way down. Okay, Alan.
Oh,
Ooh,
Oh, nice.
I like that, Alan.
oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was from last Sunday. This is actually taken with my cell phone. And the clouds were just spectacular. I can't believe how amazing they were. And this old truck was there, and I think there's another image coming up that will show you the whole truck and more of the cloud. But I really like the way just that particular type of shot that I took there, portrait type. I thought it was a little bit different than the usual landscape, and I did enhance the clouds a little bit, not too much though, and I did put a little bit of an effect from topaz on the bottom, just to kind of blur it out a little bit.
Did
I
that
did
cause
want
some
to
of
try and make the truck a little bit more red, and I couldn't quite manage that. So
Yeah, that action you did that lighten the corners a bit, or was that in the photo?
you know what? That's probably a little bit of any editing that's maybe going on there, because I can see it at the top as well.
Yeah. You think about really grounding that truck and just come right down to,
Come right down to it. Yeah.
yeah, something like that instead of leaving the grounds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that helps it out.
Yeah. But I just like the way the softness of the trees and the horizon there, with the clouds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. See the other version here.
Yeah, this is same cloud. I just put it through some of the effects in topaz just to enhance it. One of the backgrounds is that chalk, concrete on chalk, on the sky and on the clouds. So it really accentuated how dramatic it was. And then I put a different effect on the bottom, coming up to the top of the trees there. And that's that newsprint, a topaz effect. And again, what I really wanted to try and do, and I wasn't able to do it, was put a little bit of color back into the truck. So I tried that quite a few times, and it just wasn't working. So
How did you try doing it?
well, I tried it a couple of different ways. I was in Photoshop initially, and it's not all a standard color, so you can't just kind of go in and slap it on there. So, but I just went in and I tried to make a mask around the truck and put a little bit of color into it, and it just
What color was the truck?
it was a red truck. It's the same truck as the one above.
So it was red already?
It's kind of red, but not completely red. It's all different colors. So
So if you put your original shot behind it as a layer, and then you had this shot, and then you masked out, where you want the red in here,
right.
That would bring in the original shot, and then you could adjust that red with another layer in between, like a hue saturation layer, or even a color red and blend mode.
Yeah.
And that would bring it in.
But I don't know if it really needs it. It was just something I was
Yeah,
wanted to
if
try
that's
and
what you
do.
wanted to do. The only thing that bothers me a bit is this pattern must have been
Yeah.
small, and it looks almost like a repeat, like a bad clone or something.
I thought it was it looked like a texture. I was gonna ask if you put a texture.
Well, it's that concrete, chalk on concrete.
Yeah. So you need to isolate
Yeah,
the texture node in that particular preset.
Yeah.
You can go in there and you could probably make this texture bigger, or just make it more
Just
subtle,
soften-
or even just
soften
turn
it
it
up.
off. Yeah. Then you'd have all the other effects without having that on there.
yeah, because my eye kind of goes right up there. I see the truck and everything, but then I see that.
Yeah, and it's real distracting to me.
Okay, so I will fix that. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's an easy fix.
Thank-
Yeah, it looks like a truck full of ice cream.
That's wishful thinking.
Lots of ice cream.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
truck full of clouds. It's just fantastic clouds. They really
Oh,
are.
yeah.
Yeah,
That must have been some thunderstorms moving
Well,
through
there
your
was
area.
a little bit of hail came with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, but if we're talking about this truck again, okay, so I would just copy the layer and I'm just going to do a partial quick down and dirty mask here. I'm going to turn this one off so I can see where it is, and I'm just going to add a mask and get a brush here, a little bigger than that. So maybe, maybe we just want to make this area red here, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So if I turn that back on again, that's the truck. And then in between there, you could either add a solid color like that red. Okay. Maybe you might want to make it, yeah, kind of orangey red. That'll work. You can see where I missed some of my mask, but we won't bother. Then you can change this blend mode to maybe color,
Oh, wow.
saturation, or hue. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I never
Right,
thought of
color.
trying that. Yeah.
Yeah, and there you go. And if that's
Excellent.
too much, you can, you just back off the opacity a little bit.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's exactly what I was trying to do. Yeah.
Okay, so that's how you do it.
Probably did a lot easier than you could have done or I could have done.
All right. So there's that.
Good, good. Thanks.
Yeah, let's move on to the next one here.
So I was out with the 600 millimeter lens, and I don't know about down there, but there was a lot of butterflies up here this year,
Mhm.
and I just happened to catch this one.
Mm.
And but when I was processing it, I only had one stamen there. I guess the other one's coming right out towards you. You don't really see it. So I copied that vertical one and added it to it. So this
That worked.
second one, this
Yeah.
second one's a copy.
Okay.
That worked out, I think, pretty good. I think it looks fairly realistic.
Yeah. Well,
Well done.
blurred background works nicely. For
Yeah,
me.
I wonder what it would look like if you turned it horizontal or vertical.
Yeah.
Oops, make it a little bigger. There you go.
The other thing that caught my eye in this particular one, it was a fairly unusual position of the butterflies. So,
Well, I like that shadow that it's casting across.
yeah,
this. That's really
and
different.
I tell you, Jim, that was one of my concerns was because that's a shadow from the horizontal stamen. The other one that I put in doesn't have a shadow, and didn't know if I needed to put that in or not.
Yeah, it seems to work because you really don't see any catch lights to identify where the light's coming from.
Yeah.
You see these legs and you can see stuff going this way too. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's believable.
It's good.
Sandy, a question before you move on. Say, like the way you just flipped it, I know that's pretty easy to do, but if it's in layers and you have it blended the way you want it blended, how would you flip the whole thing?
No, okay. Well, let's just use
Man, option E.
yeah, basically if you got a couple different things going on like that, and maybe we got another layer like that, and another layer like that, and you want to flip the whole thing, you go to image, and you do image rotation.
Ah,
Okay. So
okay,
if you want to go 90 clockwise, that rotates all the layers.
okay,
All right. Now, if you just want to do one layer, then you'd have to identify the layer and then you would go into the layer and under transform, you could change it.
okay.
Okay. Or what is it? Edit transform. Yeah, here you go. Here's your rotate. And if you want to rotate it precisely, if you hold on the shift key before you start, it'll do, whoops, back here. Stay still. Yeah, if you hold the shift key, it'll do it in increments. Okay.
Okay, good, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Alan, that's a beautiful photo.
Oh, thank you.
The detail that you captured is incredible.
Yeah, well, considering it's a big telephoto lens, it's quite amazing.
Yep. So this went on your Facebook page. It
Yeah.
caught my eye.
This is, I tried this about a year ago, kind of unsuccessfully, and I'm getting closer to what I'm trying to do. This is not exactly perfect, but so this is a mushroom growing out in my front yard, and I'm lying down in the ground at night, and people are walking by and they're wondering what's going on.
You
So
go,
it's,
"Yeah, you're gonna eat it."
So there's a couple of images put together. Just the top part of the mushroom is a different image, and then the bottom part has the light shining through the top of the mushroom, and that's what's lighting it up.
Ah,
So,
Ah,
beautiful
I like it.
effect. Yeah, beautiful effect.
Yes,
very nice.
it's really nice.
thanks.
And I like the softness, the blur that you've got with the grass
Yeah.
around and behind it.
Yeah,
It's kind of a magic mushroom.
that's what I called it, magic mushroom.
Goes along with my hallucinogenics.
There you go.
So it's close to what I want to do, but not quite there. So
Yeah. We got a little cleanup. I mean, you got to get rid of some of the grass.
yeah, I tried to do that, and I mean, I can do it, but it's just still doesn't quite look right. So I'm
Yeah.
back. I've still got the mushroom. I cut the grass today, and I managed to avoid it. So
Good.
I'll
I
have another go.
love the texture in the top, and I love the gills and the light effect that you've got. It's lovely.
Well, thank you.
I like the fact you can get on the ground and get back up.
I'll second that one.
Getting down is easy. It's getting back up again.
Looks like an alien to me.
Yeah, people look at you strangely when you're lying in the flat in their stomach.
Yeah.
The top part of the mushroom looks like it's chrome or metallic. It does look otherworldly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's, yeah, when I changed, I'm not sure what the term is, but I did change it to is it the hue that you call it? I just dropped the temperature down to the blue side.
Yeah.
And that helped.
Very nice.
Yeah, the warm and cool works very nicely, and then you've got that nice green background to go against it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would softly blend.
Soften these up. Yeah.
Well, just blend some of the hard stuff out.
Right.
This is way in the foreground. It would probably be out of focus like the rest of this. Yeah. But that's all just easy little cleanup things.
Yeah. Ideally, you want to try this on mushrooms that are a little bit taller.
Yeah.
This one's kind of too close to the.
Yeah.
Get your manicure scissors out and just
I
trim that
out-
little bit.
I was
down
out there cooking away.
Yeah, you could, yeah, exactly. Manicure the grass around it.
Yeah.
And then if it still isn't tall enough, cut it off at the bottom and raise it up a bit.
That's what I was going to do, actually. I was going to get
Yeah, I mean, whatever works.
a toothpick.
Yeah. There you go.
There we go.
Very nice, though. Yeah.
Thanks very much.
There's a change of pace.
Yeah, so I went to, this is a professional model, and I went to a little session there on Sunday, and I've never tried this before, but I really liked how this came out. So
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice.
That is nice.
thank you. So it's an 85 millimeter, and that's exactly what I did as well, Sandy. I cropped in significantly more, and it made a huge difference.
That would at least come in that much. We're using strobe or some kind of fill light on
There
there.
was a flashlight there involved, yeah.
Okay.
Not on camera, but it was
Right. Yeah, off to your right.
a big softbox thing. Yeah.
Yeah. See it. In fact, if you guys start studying photographs, the first thing you want to do is look in the eyes and see where the catch lights are. And you can see where the lighting is if you want to
Yeah.
reproduce the lighting. So you can see it's coming from the right and slightly above her.
Yeah.
It's always a good trick.
And I was really pleased with this. So I've never done this before.
Yeah, it's interesting. And pulling out different emotions out of your subjects and everything else. It's quite enjoyable, actually.
Yeah.
Yep, did that for many years. Okay, well, that's great. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Hi, Denise. I guess we're next.
Oh, nice.
I'm in the birding group that meets on Wednesdays.
Mhm.
And this is pretty recently that I took this, but I used a filter and also lightened the area behind the bird's head, which was quite dark, and it didn't stand out at all. But this gamble quail was doing like a lot of gamble quails do. You know, they seek out a high spot and survey their realm.
Mhm.
Beautiful.
Yeah, very nice.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Nice
Beautiful.
catch. They're hard to sometimes get pictures of. They like
Yeah.
to stay, they like to move.
Were you using the dynamic auto painter again?
Yes.
Okay.
Denise, are you going to show that in the SIG?
I don't know. I sent in pictures this week, but I just thought it was that I'd used a filter. So on the other birding, I try to be more photographic and less artistic, because I think you have a lot of real dedicated birders in that group, and I'm not. I'm just a photographer that takes bird pictures.
There's I hope not to talk out of turn here, but that's more than acceptable. I mean, sometimes technically effective images are not necessarily titillating to your senses. So that would be more than acceptable, but I'm only the guy who runs that SIG. So that's a
But
lovely shot.
this is beautiful.
Thank you. I know what Sandy's going to say, though. He goes, I see a glow in that feather.
Well, no, I don't mind the glow. I'm looking more at this dull spot around the beak and the neck. I would kind of blend it more to a lighter color in here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The whole area is quite dark
Yes.
before. So it's
Yeah.
a lot of work that you don't see, of course.
Yeah.
But that looks more like a painting than most paintings do.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank
Boy, really,
Texture going there on the
Yeah.
Nice detail.
very nice.
really good detail going. But yeah, don't be afraid to bring this kind of stuff to Mike. We all have, and he likes it. So yeah, and his group seems to like it too. So all right,
This one's pretty, I think of old photographs almost, or prints. I can't think of his name now. Oh, shoot. A painter who worked in the 1920s, but Parrish, Maxfield Parrish.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry. You can tell I'm not prepared. I couldn't even remember what I submitted, to be truthful. Didn't write it down, but this is pretty out there. This is probably the wildest one of the group.
That's a good catch with the moth. Yeah.
Mhm.
No, the moth almost looks like it's upside down. I guess because
Yeah.
struck there.
He's on the downbeat right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on the down low.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
I hope
very
to-
painter.
Thank you. I hope to get hummingbird moths. The caterpillars have been out traipsing around, and some people on Nextdoor are posting the sphinx moth,
Right.
the hummingbird moth. So I know it's that time of year for them. So I hope to get some of those.
Yeah, I actually had one trying to work his way into my big window, sliding glass door here. He just kept going against it. And unfortunately, I was on a Zoom call, so I couldn't just stop and grab a picture of him. But,
And the bats are back too.
oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. They'll help with the mosquitoes.
Yeah. Well, these are the nectar
Oh,
eating
no,
bats. I have to
Oh.
fill up. I have to fill up my hummingbird feeders every morning because they drink it all at night. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we went through the same thing, and they're not neat about it. They splatter all over the windows and everything else.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, because they knock into it and
Yeah.
get the stuff to move around, so they can get it all out. The only thing that's bothering me on this, again, it's a dark halo. Did you blend the background or do a?
No, the only part of this that I really manipulated was the stem of the Tithonia,
Mhm.
because it was extremely black, dark right underneath the flower on the stem.
Yeah,
And so I did some painting to taking the stem, the lower stem color.
Yeah.
And painting the upper stem color.
yeah.
But that's probably auto painter that did that ghosting there.
Okay, yeah, so
Mhm.
you may have to, since it probably doesn't do it in layers, you could probably clone it, but with this background, that would be kind of tough.
That sounds pretty. Even if the edge was broken up, it wouldn't have to be done all the way,
No,
just
no,
to break it up.
To break it up, yeah.
Right.
I guess
right,
the
I
thing you could do is just mask it off and lighten it.
Yeah.
It might be easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the same thing here. You got a few little spots. This one doesn't bother me as much. It's not as offensive as this one.
Uh-huh.
Okay, just my 2 cents.
I love the canvas effect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Huh.
This was a little pygmy owl up at Madera Canyon. And I showed this to the birding group, the straight shots, the photograph. But I just played around with this one. It's okay. I just thought I'd try to put a filter on it and change it a bit, but I think I like it better as a more realistic piece.
Maybe cropping it.
There we go. Yeah, I like that.
Then you can kind of frame him in.
Vignette it a bit more. Mhm.
Yeah, a little bit. But this way the branches are framing him in nicely. I think
Sure.
it just a little too much information there the other way. Oops.
It's almost got like a book plate effect. If you were looking through an art book or something, this would be something that would pop right out at you.
Yeah.
It's a really beautiful picture.
It
Thank
is.
you.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I would definitely crop in on it. Okay.
This one, I took a class at the Desert Museum
Mhm.
1 year ago during COVID, actually. We all wore masks. There was only 6 of us. And Jay Piersdorf was teaching it. And I thought this was creative because the closeness of it and the
Contrast.
contrast, but with the white paper background. And,
Yes.
you know, if you take a picture of him and he's completely surrounded by this white canvas,
Yeah.
it looks like a studio shot and it just is not all that interesting. But I think cropped in, the white allows you to really focus on the texture of the needles and the little face and the little adorable porcupine face and
Yeah.
those nasty kind of scary claws.
Yeah, those are scary.
Just for digging, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder-
Nice, very nice. I like it.
I like it, yeah.
Yeah. Ground him like we did with the truck, just kind of get that right on the edge there, not quite that far. Maybe
So
some-
that was like, was that a white paper background that they put in
Yes.
place? Okay.
Yes.
I think I saw a video, was it Joe Satori with National Geo?
Yes, then photo arc.
That was trying to do a picture with chimpanzees where they had done the entire enclosure in like white sheets and paper and then let the chimp in and the chimp immediately destroyed the entire set.
Sounds like something a toddler would do.
Yeah,
Yeah, you may want to go do your precision contrast and detail in
yeah,
topaz. And
it's a lovely picture though. I love the catch light
yeah,
to do.
yeah, you can probably pull out a little more information. Use topaz?
Yes, I do.
Okay, yeah. I couldn't remember which topaz luminar you use, but yeah.
I have Nick. I use Nick more than I use Topaz.
Yeah, okay. I haven't done the color Vivisa or Vivera or whatever they call it much, but yeah. I just made a look already with the detail and contrast, so I just don't have to load them both up. And they're also in a folder, so if I want to make one mask, I can do it on the folder level rather than having to repeat it. But I usually do the contrast first and then the detail under it. And again, I like to overdo it and bring it back a little bit. You know, something like that might be enough. The contrast and then the detail, I would probably just do a little bit. I don't know if the small is gonna work. Yeah, maybe a little bit. Again, you can use a little eyeball if you just want to look at that particular effect rather than both. For both, you just click on it. There's your before and after. But you can see that brings it up quite a bit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so you get a lot more detail out of it that way. And then once you have these, if overall it's too much, you can just take the opacity down a little bit,
Sure.
and then you're good to go. Okay.
Got such cute faces.
Yeah, they are.
Probably the dilemma of the porcupine. Because they're probably really cuddly, but they can't get anybody to cuddle them.
This one was, they were feeding it grapes. And so I just walk from grape to grape and pick up the grapes and eat them.
Yep.
This is Taos a couple months ago. A gate with a filter.
Nice.
Very nice.
Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Very nice.
Yeah, between Taos and Santa Fe, you could spend weeks just shooting fences and gates, doors.
Mhm.
Yeah.
My
Nice.
sister moved to Santa Fe. So
Nice.
I used to go to Santa Fe a good amount, but now I'm going to go there even more.
Ah, good for you.
Yeah.
Place to-
Well, it's so much cooler in Santa Fe than it is here in Green Valley. It's
Sure.
so our plan is to go visit her a lot, and then in the winter, their plan is to come visit us
Oh,
because
that's a
it
great
does snow.
experience.
It
That
does
works
really
perfect.
snow up there.
Well, one time when we went to Santa Fe, we left Green Valley, it was over 30 degrees. And we got to Santa Fe, the next day, mind you, and it was snowing.
Yeah.
So we just did the shorts and t-shirts from Green Valley and had to go buy some clothes.
Yeah, it can turn cold there pretty quick. Or the oddest thing, because you're at altitude, is the front of you, you know, if you're facing the sun is boiling, your back's
7
breathing. Yeah, yeah. You know, at one time our plan was to be here in the winter and Santa Fe in the summer. Yeah, we may still do that. It's a wonderful place. Oh, it gets really crowded in the summer. Yeah. I think fall and spring are really nice there. Okay. Yeah, I like that filter. Let's just take
Thank you.
textures real quick. Yeah. Yeah, that works out nicely. Well, I wouldn't do a thing with that one.
Well, I did take out a historic house plaque that was on their house. I didn't like.
That's always a good thing to do.
Yes,
Thanks for bringing those in.
you're welcome.
Yeah. Okay, Jim Bowman.
Okay. Yeah, this is Michigan again, and up in I would call it Leelanau Peninsula. I'm probably there's some that may know where that is. Michael
On
or
Traverse City.
Traverse City, yeah, just below
Yeah.
Traverse City.
And
And
right up here.
so I put this in topaz and just kind of like that the falling rain look and the reflection of the same on the water. Just was kind of real real springy kind of like feeling.
Yeah, it's got a nice pastel palette to it.
Yeah, I like the colors.
Very soft, yeah. Fine call.
Yeah, it was just a pretty ordinary picture, but this was just kind of my, it's in a kind of an impressionistic kind of like thing.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that works nicely.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, this is again Leelanau Peninsula, up
Vineyards.
around North Point.
Northport.
Yes, I mean
Yeah.
Northport. Yes, sorry. And just they have lots of vineyards up there, and I just was attracted to the hills and the row, you know, kind of the vineyard that just kind of like surrounds you.
I like your lines. I like the leading lines in the distance.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can see a little spot on my camera up there in the upper center, but
Oh, yeah, up here.
yeah.
Is this focus stacked or is this F16 or do you remember your f-stop?
It was pretty probably F8. I didn't I didn't focus stack or anything like that.
Yeah, it looks like it goes out somewhere about here. Starts going out of focus slightly.
Yeah.
Which is nice because it brings the eye back there and it's not too busy. I think if this stuff was all tack sharp, it would be distracting.
Right.
Yeah, oh, it works out nice.
They got great wine up there too, by the way.
Yeah, they do. There are some nice vineyards up there.
Interesting. Maybe a real mild vignette might bring you in a little more.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay.
This is just spectacular light show in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
there was a thunderstorm going on. Wasn't right there, but it was kind of thundering all around you. And that's kind of the scene.
Mhm.
We've had a lot of rain up here lately.
Hmm.
And wild thunderstorms. We lost power over here one time during a thunderstorm. So yeah, I see you there. There's that. Yeah, that.
Yeah, I think seeing underneath the dock here may be just a little distracting.
Right.
If there was
Yeah.
a little more maybe, and then this slide area here too bothers me. So
Right.
you either
Uh-huh.
crop it out, you can even crop out this grate over here.
Right.
You know, something like that. Maybe even pull over to here so you don't have that edge. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah, something like that. Let's try that.
Where in Michigan are you?
I guess you could. take
I'm
it more south.
Yeah, I'm in Western Michigan, in this little town called Ludington.
Oh, yeah, I
Which
know where
is-
that is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you could go right to here, so it's all the same, same grade.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. These are all a trip that I took this week or last week, really.
Mhm. And then I would start maybe either just gradiating up or down or something just to give it some depth because it seems like it's all in the same plane because of the tones.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think that would help it out.
So what would you do though? From the bottom, it couldn't, the
Yeah,
top or the bottom?
maybe both. Let's take a look. Okay, let's just park this here. Again, we can just do camera raw, make it quick and easy. So maybe just grab a little guy here. And I'm going to make it darker so I can kind of see where it falls off and then adjust it. And
Hey, Sandy,
yeah, Mike.
could you use the leveling tool on the bottom to, because when you cropped it, you lost some of the legs of the blue chair. If you use the leveling tool, you can crop it right up to the base of the dock.
Yeah, I actually did crop it. What happens is when you go to camera raw, it gives you the whole image back.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. The only problem with at this point, I probably have to use a distortion tool because the horizon's pretty level here. And if I start, rotating it,
Yeah.
it's not going to be level. So,
Right.
so you got to kind of fight that. And then here you can kind of do the same thing.
mhm.
Now you see, the longer you bring it out, the smoother the transition is. Where see this one's shorter, so it falls off a little quicker.
Okay.
And then what I would do is I would grab this one first and maybe not make it quite so dark. And then I can grab this one and maybe instead of exposure, we try playing with highlights and shadows. Maybe bring the whites up a little, the blacks down a bit. Kind of almost getting a vignette there. Maybe that's a little bit too much. We can compensate now with a little exposure. Let's see. Something like that. So there's your before and after.
Yeah, that looks good.
Nice.
So then if we bring it back, you'll see it cropped. Yeah, now maybe that's a little too much. Oh, I know. I didn't crop it in Photoshop. So, so when I brought it in, it brought it back. But yeah, so we can bring the crop back up here to what we had, which was somewhere around here.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. And
Yeah.
then the other one.
Yeah.
Probably make that equal distance.
Yeah, and then what you do, Mike, is you could double click this so it's a floating layer, hit your transform, and then right click and hit distort and grab this corner here, hold your shift key down so it just goes straight, and then you can bring it down like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, okay.
And then now it's nice and straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how I'd fix that.
I got a question, Sandy.
Sure.
I've never tried this, but if you do a selection, are you able to transform a selection within a photo or not?
Oh, certainly.
Okay.
Yeah, you bet. Like, let's just say, just a quickie here. You know, we could just grab this area here. Add on to it a little bit. All right. I'm just going to copy and paste right on top of it. So that makes it another layer. I'm going to hit transform here, and you know, I could make it bigger if I wanted. If I wanted a little different, I could go into distort here and do some things with it if I wanted to. Distort tick, it didn't look like it did. Yeah, so if I wanted to, you know, I wanted to change it somehow, I could do that. You know, and it would just affect that particular selection. I could even go into warp and maybe you know, really get crazy with it.
That's pretty wild.
And the other one's go
Get
underneath.
crazy like Steve.
Quit rubbing off on me. No, I think I was that way long before I met Steve.
Yeah, you don't, it's not contagious, so you had to come by it on your own.
I came by that.
Right.
Okay.
Just as well, you got a booster shot.
There you go.
So yeah, just a little dock scene. I added the birds again, just to give it a little bit of interest.
Yeah.
So you added the birds in Luminar?
Yeah.
Okay. They have a giraffe you can add to
Ah,
it.
good.
Did you
I think
switch?
Grant needs to go on the boat then.
Looking at
Did you
bikini
switch
on the
guys
sailboat there too, you know, I mean,
Yeah,
There you go.
Jim, did you change skies too? Because I'm seeing a little.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I
Yeah,
changed.
sometimes you got to mess with the masking in there.
Yeah.
Sure. Especially with something
that
that's
presents a
complicated.
question I've asked in front of you before, Sandy. When does it go from being a photograph to an artistic thing?
no cut
I think,
dry answer
I
to
think
that.
once you crop it in the camera and push the shutter,
Right.
you know, from then on, it's whatever you want to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no beginning or end. I mean, well, you know, before that camera comes up to your eye, maybe your conceptualization has a little bit to do with it. Your subconscious, your training. But yeah, once you put your crop on it in that camera and push the shutter down, basically you've created fine art photograph, you know, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway.
Yeah, I was reading something interesting about eyeglasses the other day. Before the invention of eyeglasses, everybody saw it differently as far as focus and sharpness and blur and everything else was concerned. So again, your visual acuity would, if you were a painter or an artist, would influence your work itself. So
Right.
And there's a lot of people on all sides of the coin. I mean, some people say it's not a photograph once you manipulate it, but when you decide what the exposure is, you're manipulating. So I mean,
sure.
where does it end? So,
Yeah, and your camera comes with its own manipulating algorithm built into it. So
exactly. So anyway.
I guess my last comment on the subject would be, when you put something in it that wasn't ever there, that kind of removes the fact it was a photograph,
Mhm.
in the sense that, and I'm not criticizing work, I'm just saying, you
Yeah.
know, you try to enter any photo contest with manipulated image, I think most of them require you to submit a raw image. So it documents the fact that what,
Yeah, unless it's art.
oh, sure, yeah,
Unless it's fine art or a different category. And yeah, I think that keeps the playing field level. And of course, if you're doing documentary or news, obviously
yeah.
it's supposed to be, although people have been manipulating
Yeah.
it for years.
supposed to
Yeah,
be.
I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a criticism by any.
Oh, no. It's a well-deserved topic in its own right. I'm glad you brought it up. Okay. The only thing I think on this one, Jim, is maybe overall it's a little dark and flat.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe just brighten and put just a dash more contrast into it.
Okay.
And when I say contrast, maybe manipulating blacks and whites rather than just moving the contrast scale.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Let's look at the next one here.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
That's
cool.
nice.
Yeah. Over in Northport, there was a jazz concert, and I just did some experiments there, and I wanted to do something that was really more jazzy. So this was jazzy.
I think you hit it.
Yeah, very good.
This would print wonderfully on a like an etching or a watercolor paper
Yeah.
rather than a glossy
Yeah.
paper.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
There was a-
yeah.
Yeah, there was a gal there in the audience that was painting or watercoloring this scene, not this very scene, but a scene from it in watercolor. She was doing it live.
Wow.
And so kind of gave me some inspiration.
You should send her a copy.
Yeah.
Did you stay overnight up there, Jim?
Yes, I spent 2 nights actually.
Okay, I was gonna say, because that'd be at least a 3-hour drive for you to get up there from Ludington.
Oh yeah, no, we spent a couple of nights.
Okay.
There's
Now here's another thought, Jim. If you come across something like that again, like sometimes I've been in the West Coast and you'll see someone painting on a cliff. It's almost a cliche, but sometimes it works. You get behind the person so that you capture them painting the scene
Yes.
and
Yeah.
incorporate them into the photograph.
Yeah.
What type of filter did you use?
it's a combination of several. Let's see here. This one is called Abstract Funk.
Pity.
I like it.
Nice. That's a keeper.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Jim. All right, Jim Murphy.
Okay, I've got a theme today. So I went to one day, yeah, you're laughing. I went one day to Vancouver last week. And so that's my trip to Vancouver is my theme. So
Private joke.
it was
in our
kind of
city.
it was kind of smoky and hazy. There was a little bit of smoke going on. There's a fire on Vancouver Island. And so the city was a little hazy in the shot here. I took it into black and white, made it black and white, and then I put a blue and a kind of a brownish color filter on it.
Yeah, it's cool.
What do you think about gradiating this top down or maybe even cropping it? Let's try cropping it first.
Yeah, probably could do a gradient or a crop, either one.
Yeah, or both. Suppose you could gradiate it from there. Although I don't know if I like it centered. I kind of like it the way it was before. Whoop. Should hit undo. There we go. Yeah. Maybe just gradiate it. Okay.
I shot this from the same spot I shot the boat from, and a lot of people jogging and riding bicycles in Vancouver. Anyway, she was doing yoga on the beach, and I got a lot of great shots of her. You know, I like to shoot dancers, but I never thought about it. But yoga strikes some really nice poses, and they're easier to shoot because they stay stationary. So
I like the lighting on her.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Tai Chi is karate
Yes.
in slow motion.
Mhm.
You know?
yes.
Yeah.
I like the repetition of the light with the dark here. And then it keeps continuing. Yeah, that works nice.
So yoga is almost like modern dance in slow motion.
Yeah, again, maybe this could use a crop.
Yeah.
Bring it home a little bit more. Maybe edge up a little bit of this shadow detail, bring it up a little bit. So I
Okay. There's actually was water back there, and I just darkened it out.
sorry, keep tapping my
Oops.
mouse the wrong way there. Okay.
Jim, did you put that into a black background?
Okay, what did I do? I can't remember what I did. No, it's I just darkened I didn't put a black background in. I just darkened the background that was there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So just bring it back ever so slightly in here.
Okay.
Yeah, for maybe about her the bottom of her breast down. Yeah, I think that would work. Or maybe her waist. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and this was also at the beach. I got too many great blue heron shots, but just thought it kind of had a little bit of an oriental feel with the way the branch was and the heron. I left a little detail instead of totally silhouetting the heron. I brought just a little bit of detail out in the heron to give it a little more interest.
Nice, very nice, Jim.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
That's a good one, yeah.
Yeah. There's the detail in there. I remember a while back you had something similar to this. Maybe you could start a little theme of these.
Heron silhouette theme, yeah.
Yeah, and it was kind of oriental looking too.
Right.
Yeah, some months back, but I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. I like the way the texture is kind of vignetted off as it goes out, and it changes colors too. So it's not just a solid texture. You lose some detail back here, and then then you got a little grunge in here too. Nice.
This was I shot this one through was a gallery, and it was just in the window of the gallery, and I shot it through a window, so I had a hard time getting rid of the reflections, but I think I got them all.
Yeah, it looks good.
That's very nice.
Yeah, they have some really incredible masks up there. There's a whole museum full of them up there.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. But the galleries are amazing. They have some wonderful art.
Yeah, I visited the totem. I took a bunch of shots of totem poles as well. They're not included though, but.
Mhm. Did you have any detail of this slot over here, or were you too high?
Not really.
Yeah, I think you might have been too high, and this was covering it. Yeah, no, I don't think I mind it actually. There's a little asymmetry. I don't know if cutting off that one side would help a little bit.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that might work a little better.
Okay.
Okay.
Quite dramatic.
This is a place called Granville Island, and it's an iPhone actually shot. It's a panorama, and you can kind of tell that
Yeah.
by the dock down there straight ahead where it's kind of bent.
Yep.
That's
Which was why I asked the question earlier, can I select out an area and, transform it?
Mhm.
That's a nice image.
Yeah, I mean, you could easily, well, not easily, but you can easily select that area, but it's going to take a little manipulation to get it where you want. but
Right.
Yeah, you could just kind of grab this area here and copy paste and then get in here and do your warp. And just kind of work this back up. You can add more points to,
Right.
to get it to work, but yeah, you could do that and kind of bring this down a little bit.
That kind of bothered me a little bit, the way it was bent down in there.
Yeah, I mean, you could just even work this area and leave this alone.
Right. Yeah, I think I'd do that. Just leave
Yeah.
that area alone.
Let's get out of there and just, let me just get out of here and we'll even just select this area here. And same kind of thing. Or you could just kind of pull this on down a little bit. Anyway, with a little manipulation, you can get it.
Right. I get the concept. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, the other way to do it is with that, I can't remember the name of the brush, but there's a brush you can push and pull and distort like that too. Trying to remember what it's called. It's been a long time since I used it. Oh, Liquify.
Liquify. Right.
Yeah, and in Liquify, you could grab, make it a little bigger. Grab sections and just kind of work your way across.
Oh, yeah, that works.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be perfect, but
Yeah. Yeah, so.
that's better. So.
Yeah, there you go. So there's only a few ways to skin a
Very
cat.
nice. Awesome image. Really, really
Yeah, that is-
cheerful
Thank you.
and love the colors,
Yeah.
all the variety of blues and it's beautiful.
Very nice.
What kind of filter did you use there, James?
Oh, God, Steve, you would ask me. I can't.
I'm
I
sorry.
tried about,
Forget that.
I looked at about 15 different filters.
Yeah.
It's sort of like Vibrant City Lights, but it's not that one. I can't remember the name of it. So
Okay.
sorry. I should have written it down.
No, you're like me. I just go through and do them and then,
Whatever works.
Yeah.
whatever works.
But if you see my file folders, a lot of my manipulated ones, the titles are very long because I include the filters and
Sure.
that sort of thing, because I would forget. And I thought, this is a wonderful effect and I'd like to use it again. Well, what was it?
Well, here's a trick. Here's a trick in Photoshop. Just make a new layer and name the layer the effect that you used.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
Just
Yeah.
do whatever. Then you don't have to
Yeah.
have all these long titles and
Good idea.
commercial.
Yeah.
I'll do that next time.
Yeah, you can even use a text layer and actually put it on there if you wanted to, but
Sure.
just renaming the layers enough usually. Another trick, Jim, is when you're doing your panorama, the 2x does not distort as much in the center. It doesn't bother.
Okay.
If you've got
I didn't know that.
the 2x or 3x, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think from iPhone 10 on, you can do that.
Okay.
All right. Let's look at this next one. Wow.
Oh,
Whoa.
my.
This
Excellent.
is crossing the border. There's this gigantic sculpture, and it's, I don't know, it's just weird when you look at it. I mean, your eyes don't know where to focus, and so I caused almost an international incident because I asked the guy, can I take a photo of that? And he said, sure, go ahead. And I pulled over, and then all these guards came running out. You can't do that, you know, and yelling at me. And
I thought you had
So-
painted that.
Yeah.
It's a sculpture?
It's a sculpture. It's a very large, extremely large sculpture.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, look at the trees. Of course, your angle of view and how close it is to you compared to the rest of it would
Yeah.
just say as well. But
What's the name of the sculpture? Do you know? Or the
Oh,
artist?
I was gonna look that up and see who did it and so forth and get some history on, but I haven't done that yet.
Well, it's pretty amazing.
Yes,
It'd
it
It is
is.
be
amazing.
nice to know.
So
Yeah,
it's right
yes.
on the, it's right on the border.
Right, yeah, it is. Right by
The
the Peavy
border of-
Sarch.
is that north
What's
of
the port?
Bellingham border?
In Blaine, Washington, yeah.
No. So we went through there.
Near the-
Well, that was like 4 years ago. We went through there after we visited you, and I don't recall seeing it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Every time I see it, I was like, I gotta take a picture. That was an iPhone shot as well.
Yeah. Nice. Well, if I come through that way again, I'm definitely gonna make a point of seeing that.
I wish I was that creative and had that kind of money to build a sculpture like that.
Yeah.
That would have taken a lot of work,
A lot of welding.
a lot of welding.
Yeah. Jeez.
Actually amazing. Yeah.
Pretty
Maybe
amazing.
they're all used TV antennas, Jay.
Could be.
You
Might
could
be
hook
coat
up to
hanger.
it and get reception, I guess.
No, it's an incredible sculpture. It really is.
Yeah. Well, aside from that, maybe just a slight vignette on the top,
Okay,
bring you down.
right.
Very nice. All right.
Beautiful pictures.
Thanks. Those are great.
Thank you.
All right, Kim.
These are all iPhone pictures this time around.
Okay.
This is actually a city bench. And I just cropped it down to get the sides of the bench off, just to make it more compact. The one area that, well, the gray you're seeing is the concrete showing through the slats of the bench.
Oh,
And I liked the colors and just, I don't know, it just caught my eye. It's nothing fancy about it. And these are pretty much the colors right out of the camera of the phone.
That's a great effect.
I like it.
Yeah, it is.
Nice. So Mike, to bring up my point from before, yeah, it's how you crop and how you go to something. This can be a photograph, but at this point, I think it's become fine art.
Yeah.
The only thing I would do would be to crop out that top.
The
portion
top
of it.
one,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right there, okay.
I think
So it's
that-
gray, so the gray shows as the top?
No, I'd crop it all the way down to the
Oh,
top of the
okay.
bench, I think, yeah.
Right there.
Okay.
Flat, yeah.
Yeah.
So it balances out with the bottom. I don't know if that'll work or not.
Okay,
but
sure,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay. That's easy enough to do.
Yeah,
That's a beautiful effect.
yeah, but I think, yeah, that helps bring it in. Yep. There you go. And it even makes you wonder more which way it's going.
Yeah.
Because this almost becomes vertical then too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'd do anything with that one.
Okay,
All right.
Very nice.
this is in Findlay, Ohio. Reflections in the window. So all of that, everything you're seeing in the windows is behind me.
Mhm.
Well, I take that back. Down below, there's one window, that's still all reflections. Yeah, everything's reflections. And then I just turned it into a black and white.
Yes.
works well.
Very nice.
Pictures within pictures, yes.
Mhm.
Just
Mhm.
I like it.
Every window is a different picture.
Yeah, that's what kind of caught my eye.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, now, a warp tool could work for this one. If you're careful with it. So basically, you can do something like this, make it a layer. Right click, go to warp. And what you do is you just click on here and you get a little handle here,
Uh-huh.
and you just pull it out a little bit, just to take that bow out.
Hmm.
Same here.
Okay.
Just take that bowing out. See, now this vertical is a little straighter.
Sure.
So there's your before and after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can put a grid on it if if you need to, or just Control or turn on the rulers and just drag a vertical guide over there to look at it.
Okay.
I've been looking through 8x10 view cameras for so long, I pretty much know horizontal and vertical without it. But
Sure.
it takes a little practice. All righty. There you go. Nice. Yeah, I think I'd leave that be too. Maybe, I don't know, these little verticals from the brick up here, maybe I'd cut those off.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's more like this. And again, you can do the same thing with the warp tool here. You got a little bow here.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
That was poor workmanship.
That's those people in Ohio, Jim.
This is in an old house that is now a museum in Findlay. And so the staircase interested me, but once I saw it, it's like, well, it's just a wooden staircase. It was beautiful old wood. It's an old home. So I thought I'd do something different with it. So this is in topaz, and this is a southwestern filter.
Okay.
Hey,
I love it. It's gorgeous. I love the leading lines. It's well done.
yeah,
Very nice.
yeah. I can't think of anything I'd do with it. Just works out nicely.
Yes, it does. Very nice, Ken.
Thanks.
Mhm. Well, this one looks like fun.
This is what happens when you're in an airport waiting for your next flight for a couple hours. And colors catch your eye.
This reminds me of the movie Kung Fu Hustle.
Oh, yeah.
Because
So a candy
there's a
store.
there's a big lollipop that plays a big part in that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I masked the lollipop, the sucker, and then the background I used the smudge tool to
Yes.
just kind of blur, not take everything away, but I didn't want the detail of everything that was behind it.
Is the size of this, is this actually that big?
Yes, it's
Okay.
cropped in, but it was, I haven't altered the size of it. This was
Okay.
with my phone, my camera, or my phone.
Yes.
So I was just close to it, and it was big.
Well done.
What did it taste like?
Yeah, were there lick marks on this?
That's right. Probably tastes like the plastic or rubber and of whatever it's made of.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah.
Kim, can you answer a question for me?
Sure.
You said that they used a filter in topaz called Southwestern filter.
Right. Southwestern.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I have an older version of topaz that does not have that filter on it. Am I supposed to upgrade?
This is in Studio 2.
Okay.
And
All right.
Studio 2.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand. Thank you.
Yeah,
You're
it might
welcome.
be able, if you don't have Studio 2, it actually went out where you could look to see what public filters were added. And you might find it there too.
Okay,
All right,
okay.
cool.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Nice. Thanks for bringing those in.
Thanks.
Just open this up here. I don't see Ron Berry. I guess he's not here yet. Okay. We'll save his stuff for next time. All right. Guess we're down to Steve.
Yeah, my craziness is biosphere this week. So,
Oh, I like it.
Interesting.
and this is, everything was done in Topaz except for some one or two things that were done in Luminar. But I think this was a Da Vinci sketch that was applied to this one.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, well, biosphere is already kind of otherworldly, but I wanted to take it to a little bit different level.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you have.
Nice.
And I kind of like the gold effect that pops out of the dome. And
No, it's a nice one, Steve.
I like it.
You know, that new movie Dune coming out, or new remake of Dune coming out.
yes,
This might blend itself.
well, I think they're going to do this one correctly. I mean, probably more in line with the book than
Yeah, from the previews I saw, it might be.
than the David Lynch one and the
Yeah.
Dino De Laurentiis one.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was just, the raw picture, probably just with the auto filter taken on it and then dumped into Topaz.
Hmm.
And this is, I think, the charcoal effect in Topaz.
Yeah. I wonder if you should throw another texture just across here, mask it in just so it's not such a.
A gray mass.
Yeah.
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 It was just green grass. So
There you go. This one I think has nice possibilities.
and this was sky replacement and then a grunge filter applied.
Mhm.
Oh, I like that, Steve.
That's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good one.
that is cool.
Yeah, I think that's my number one pick of these. Oh, there's a couple more coming yet. Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Is the dome a little bit crooked though?
Sure.
Yep.
I don't know, Jim, if I can really straighten that up to any great extent, but probably so. I kind of like the tilt on it. Kind of gives me a perspective of going up again.
Or maybe give it a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little more to the left.
And this again was, I think, the charcoal filter applied.
Oh,
And you're right, everything green turns to gray. And,
yeah. You get kind of an ethereal effect around it, almost like a glow or something.
yeah.
Kind of interesting.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't take out the golf cart, but it kind of blends into the scenery.
Oh, yeah. Now I see it.
Brings you back to our century. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, this one's nice too.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
one's really nice.
I love that. Yes.
That's
Well,
nice.
all of them are good, but this one has
Yeah, I like.
has something about it.
Yep.
It's the Milky Way shot, I think also.
This, yeah, you could probably
Yeah.
get one more and do a triptych.
Well, I think this one, I did a little bit of graduation filter at the bottom to darken down the ground. And then replaced the sky, of course, with the in Luminar with the Milky Way. And then I think, trying to think of the effect I applied in Topaz. I think it was in the artistic group, but
Yeah. In the texture layer, you could probably mask that out slightly.
yeah,
Yeah. I can clone it out now.
I think this was, I'll have to look. It might have been another grunge filter that I used on it. So.
Yeah, looks like it. But yeah, I'd say do one more, and then between these two, you'll have a triptych. Maybe do another vertical. Nice. Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Well, Steve, you got me thinking about my old 3D days. So I went back. Let's see here. For those of you that don't know 3D, basically you start with modeling and you push and pull points on a mesh. And it's kind of like when you used to do paper mache in the old days. You'd make your little wireframe armature, then you'd slap some glue and newspaper over it, and then you'd make it a texture and what have you.
Yes.
Kind of what you're doing virtually here. And then they add even more virtuality here. You've got a studio in a box because you can put your lighting where you want and render it however you want and come up with a final image. Anyway, I started doing this about late 80s, and rather than going into animation, I just started doing 3D illustration, and I was one of maybe 3 or 4 people doing it in the country at the time, and had a lot of work, mostly pharmaceutical, because of it. So this was an article that kind of explained how things worked. And
Is that your sinuses? What is it? Is it sinuses?
Yeah, those are sinuses.
Those are sinuses.
Exactly. It was a sinus medication. And this was a rendering, and I was just testing this area to kind of tweak it to get it to where I needed it in this particular case.
Oh, yes, Maya.
Yes, this was Maya. And there's the finished result.
Oh, that's
Wow.
fantastic.
Interesting.
Wow.
Wow.
Love it.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
You just got to show us up.
That's why I keep coming back, though. It's because you're all so good.
Well, I'll
And-
share whatever you want to know so you can do it too, Jim. And this was for Abbott. Kind of went with the theme of that stop motion where the guy was doing bullets through eggs.
Yeah.
The fellow's name, I think it starts with an E, but you could probably Google it. But we did a whole series on it. And again, this shows you how you can change direction and have a totally different image. So basically that was the same setup, just changed to a different angle. Added more shards. Give them a little different ad. See, it was brochures and collateral material, so we had to do pretty big things. And this one, I think ended up being a long horizontal double page spread, but they wanted a lot of bleed to figure out how they wanted to position it and how much type they needed. When you're working for clients, you also have to keep those considerations. You usually give them more background and stuff they need so they can crop it to their own taste. This was just a personal piece I did when I was advertising for work in the Black Book. And I went through a few iterations. So this kind of shows, I included this to show how you can change textures and lighting and materials. So this one I've got kind of a granite, table, and got the New York Times in there and my cup of cappuccino, and I got the light coming through the window from behind there.
Very nice.
And then I changed it over to something a little more
Oh, shoot.
modern
Yes.
and radical with a stainless steel swirled table. And
Wow.
I decided to flip the page open and change to the communication arts to appeal more to the viewers I was advertising to on this, to show us all the capabilities.
Wow.
Very, very nice.
And then, of course,
Oh.
nobody wanted to do this, dropped their iPhone in the water. So I decided to just illustrate it. And this, again, none of this exists. It's just wireframe. There's nothing photographic about it. So we actually modeled all these products.
Wow.
Yep.
Got
Well, I
13.
take that back. The only thing photographic was the screen.
Yeah,
I agree with the icons because I don't want to have
Uh-huh.
to recreate that. So
I was going to say, I'm really impressed with your your graphic art skill. If you can recreate all those icons.
I've done
Oh,
that.
I got to bow down.
Yeah, some of the clients will want, specific things, and we'd have to put them all in there and then map it into to the screen on the image.
Is the
Yeah, this
number
was-
13 emails there? Is that some subtle message?
That just happened to be how many I hadn't read yet.
only 13. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a label for a bottle of liquid plumber. So they wanted to get a little more modernistic. So it was kind of fun. And this was a self-promotion, just decided to do a Coca-Cola bottle, the old classic Coke exploding and having some fun with that.
Yeah.
I did a lot of glass and liquid and metal. I was kind of known for that. This one
Oh, I love that.
was a celebration of life. It's
Yes,
kind of emanating a water splash.
yes.
Excellent.
That is cool.
Now, this was getting a little more into the newer type of lighting where you could do image-based lighting and reflections from images.
Yep.
So you create like a large sphere around the world of models that you have. So you encapsulate them inside of it, and then whatever's reflecting in that sphere reflects into the image if you have reflective surfaces. So so I shot kind of a area around a pond and then let it map in so that it would have looked like this if the water was that calm, on the peripheral areas.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool. And then was a biotech company that was probably one of my bigger jobs. They were a client for about 5 years, but they were a biotech firm that were probably along the same lines as what's happening with the RNA vaccines. They were early pioneers into that kind of technology. And they wanted something to kind of show chromosomes and the yin and yang of life and that sort of thing. So I came up with these different chromosomal fields and this and called it The Essence of Life. And that was their catalog cover. And their sister company made all the assays and gels and things that they would use in the labs test with it. So I made this kind of big petri dish, kind of scoop it the gel.
So
These look.
How long
these-
would it take you to do these things?
Yes, that was my question.
Days. Days. The previous one took me about 3 weeks.
Oh, geez.
They kept changing it to how they wanted to feel. They were kind of like, well, do it and we'll let you know when we like it. So it was one of those.
Oh,
The nice thing was they paid you for the time rather than expecting it to stay in a budget and work you to death. So that was nice.
Beautiful work, Sandy.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
and this petri dish kind of worked as a portal too. So it kind of led you into
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Unreal.
And then these
Uh-huh.
these are not products. They wanted to see if we could create their particular packaging from scratch, and we did.
Oh. So how would you go about starting that?
Starting it,
Yeah,
from
from a blank page, right? So
yeah. You actually build these models, based on reference. Usually I would shoot a model straight on the side and top view, and then I would model against it, and build it up. And then you have to create what your material is and how, oops, I'm sorry, I went over one. Let me go back a couple here. What your material is and the, how it reflected or refracted and created accordingly. So you can see that this particular material is a more matte finish than this glossy cap.
yeah.
And then I just did a little burst effect in the back on another layer. And then at one time, Battle Creek came to us to take a look at it, animating and also turning their figures into 3D. We explored that for about 6 months, and then they decided to stick with their illustrations. So it never really came to packaging, but we had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think we're back to the drawing board.
Yeah. And again, did a lot of stuff for medical. This was just for a kidney treatment medicine. And this was just to talk about e-commerce on the internet back in the day before it was really something we do without thinking about it anymore. So this was actually a screen here, kind of an abstract thought.
Where was home base for you? Were you in California? Were in New York
Chicago.
City, Chicago?
I
Okay.
had worldwide clients. I worked in Chicago, and I wintered in Rincon, Puerto Rico, because I could work from there.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. This was
I like the heart.
yeah, distended and overworked heart for
Yep, Very
medication.
much so.
Yeah.
Which company do you
Oops.
remember?
I'm sorry, that goes back to Windows class tomorrow. Okay, that's all I got here.
Well, thank you for showing your
Yeah.
own work. That's
Yeah.
that's very
Thank you.
interesting, and I think that's why I like this group. Is I'm learning things, and keep it up, people.
Thank you.
Hey,
I
Denise.
appreciate you guys coming. Keeps me on my toes. A lot of times I got to think about things you ask and how I would do them, because a lot of it's just second nature, and I want to break it down into something that's easy to understand, and
Right.
it's real
Hey.
helpful.
Denise, you asked about that filter. It's in the Southwestern filter in Topaz is in one of their looks. I don't remember which look it is. I don't know if it was, I don't know if it was abstract. I don't think so, but it's in one of their preloaded looks.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.